In this tutorial I'm going to go through how to animate characters, and in order for me to do that we need a character to play around. So I'd recommend there's a free add-on, two versions by Blender Boy here, and there's a fair price here. This is at Gumroad, and basically it just adds another mesh, which is a low poly set of human figures, as you can see here. And I use this when I create something to help as a reference for scale when I'm creating things like buildings, buckets, walls, whatever it is. And it's completely free, and there's a sort of premium version, and if I go to Blender Boy itself, here you go, there's a light version and a premium version, but all you have to do is type in 0 and add to cart and download it. And if you do that, when I come into my Blender here, if I do Shift A and go to Mesh, and right at the bottom I have here we go, human base, and I can have it with a rig or without. So if I do human male, for example, there you go, and we've got sort of like an A pose here, and in the options in the bottom left hand corner I can say there's the name, position, and I can sort of do a different sort of version, as you can see there, and I can also give it an armature as well if I want, and here you go for animating. The issue of course is I then have to animate it. I either have to move this around. If you give it an armature, nothing happens. I can move things around, it's parented, etc. You have to go to object mode, go to pose mode, and here we go. And now I can select the options, you see, and now I can move things around. But the issue is, if I want to animate this, it's going to take me a while. So what do I do? So let's come out of pose mode, go to object mode. I will exit, as in I'll delete it, press the X key, and I will do Shift A, and I will go to human base, human male. I won't give it a rig. See, armature none. I can change the pose. There's a proper A pose or a T pose. I'll leave it on the T pose. There you go, you see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this, because what I want to do is I want to use Mixamo. And Mixamo is a free Adobe website. You have to sign up, but it's free. And when I do that, I have the choice of uploading, which we'll do in a second, a character, which is going to be Bob. I call him Bob. There you go. We're going to export Bob and then upload him into here. And here are the animations, which is Mixamo is great for. So if I click in here and say I want a walk animation, there you go. See, these are all the types of walk animations, and I can say, let's click on that one. And there you go, you see, or I want this one. If I want a run animation, just type in run, and so we can run backward, forward, and I just go searching for different types. You can see here, and let's go to adventure, for example, see what we've got. This is the sort of anime with the hands and the arms backwards, which I'm sure you'd fall over, but anyway, that's what they have. Turn to running, and so on and so forth. So how do we do this? How do we apply this? So all I've got to do, there's my selection. So I'll go to File, I'll go to Export, and we're going to export to FBX. So click on FBX. Thank you very much. I'll go to my desktop, and I'll call this Bob. I'll do it Bob _ test. There you go. And if I hide everything now, and I'll hide that, and let's bring him over. So there's my FBX. Okay, fine. Now I had to, you didn't see this because I paused the recording, but I had to re-export this because I'd forgotten that when I'd created this, I had in my outline, I've deleted everything now, a second reference figure which I exported, which means when I upload it to, let's get this out of the way onto my other screen. when I go back to Mixamo, when I upload character, can you see here, it's got 2 and it doesn't know what to do. So it didn't work. So I'll go to upload character now. So watch out for that, because I exported the whole file and I wasn't paying attention to what was in there. So I'm going to drag it over now from my other screen. It will upload Bob. And what it should do now, there you go. We have the auto rigger. And that's fine. Yep, okay, that's all right. And next. Now I can specify by dragging, and you can see we've got the zoom on the right there. These are the wrists. And if you notice, the elbows, it mirrors it on the other side. The knees, the groin, and there you go. You see, we do next, we wait. So it's going to add, Mixamo is going to add the bones when we export, which means when we bring them in, and it's going to add the keyframes and everything. So when we bring them in back into Blender, it will move, it will animate. So just wait for it to do its thing. There we go. Oh, yep, that's fine. Next. Yep, thank you very much. You can only do one character at a time, you can't sort of save it as such. And I can drag around with the mouse, and you can see we've got various tools here, but that's fine. So now you see, if I do a search for walk, there you go, and I can say what sort of walking do I want. Let's have a look. I don't want backwards. There you go. And there we go. And I can go searching. Let's go for run or whatever I want and say, right, let's do a fast run. Say, I like that. Yep. So now I just do a download. It gives me a choice. Well, not much of a choice actually, but FBX is fine with the skin, 30 frames per second or whatever you want to choose. That's fine. I don't want to reduce keyframes, and just download it. Thank you very much. There you go. And it's downloaded into my downloads folder. So now I'll go back to Blender. I'm going to delete Bob here, and I will just go to File, and I will import and FBX again. Go to my downloads, and there it is. Thank you very much. And notice now I have a pose, but notice now I have a rig. And if I click on the rig, I can go again to my pose mode, and I can rotate, see, move things around. I can click on each bone, G, and play around with them, but nothing's happening as such. And it's also difficult to see or to access the bones because they're sort of all hidden everywhere. So what I can do on the right here is the data, this is the pose position, etc., but here's the bones and also the viewport display. But here I do in front, and now you see these are all the bones that I can now manipulate. I can click on each one when I'm in pose mode, etc., etc. But if I now zoom out a bit and just press the space bar, notice I'm on frame 1, and I'll go back to object mode. I don't want to pose anything, and if I do space bar, it runs for a little while. Okay, I need a new window, so let's drag from here and let's go to the timeline. Here we go, and notice I'm on frame 112. Let's drag it back, press the space bar, and you notice it stops about what, frame 18 or something. And on the right hand side here, if I look at my render area, which is like the little printer, as you can see, I'm on 30 frames per second, 300 frames, 10 seconds, but I don't get 10 seconds worth of animation. The animation from Mixamo is a one-off. And also note, I'll press spacebar, let's drag this up. There are quite a few things animating here. You can see these are the parts of my figure that Mixamo has created bones for, and they've named them hip, spine, spine 1, etc., etc. And if I go back I could, of course, see they're all selected. Remember, A, in my case, I've got A and toggle A to deselect. If I do with everything selected, Shift D and duplicate it, and Shift D and duplicate it, and now do spacebar, so I'm on 0, frame 0, it repeats. It doesn't continue on, it repeats and goes back to the beginning. So, and what I don't want to do is have to do to change the keyframes and move things around, so it goes on and on and on, and I've got a different number of frames, so I need to do that every time and copy and paste, etc., etc. Now I've undone back, I've done a little jump because I came across an oddity here. So what I need to do is I want a way of automatically repeating this for as many frames as I want without me having to worry about exactly how many frames I've got and so on. So if I go now down here to the graph editor, and here's what I want, and what I should see is the modifiers here. But if I deselect everything, I'll just press A, deselect, still there, and I'll just right mouse drag, and can you see it's disappeared? And I don't know why, it's a bit weird. If I click on each of these, it doesn't come back, and if I expand them, it does, but I'm not going to, as soon as I select all of these, it disappears, and I need it for everything. So I'm going to deselect everything, and in fact what I'm going to do is I'll expand one, and if I hover over here I can do A, it selects, still hasn't come up, you see, so A again, select one, there's the modifiers, and I'll go to select and all, and now the modifiers panel has come up, everything is selected, and that's what I want. So watch out for that. I think it's an issue in, I'm running Blender 4.1, so I've got a feeling that's a bit weird, so watch out for that. So if you deselect and reselect and you don't see the modifiers, click on one item, expand one, go to select. So I'm doing A, so it doesn't, there you go, see, it doesn't work. So I'm using the keyboard there, so I'll select one, go to the select menu and all, and the modifiers are up, and everything, if I expand these are highlighted, and that's what I want. Okay, so I've got everything selected, and I'm going to go to add modifier and cycles. And let's go back, and if you notice now we've got a repetition here, and if I press the space bar, we have a repetition, but it keeps on going back, it keeps on resetting, so it does repeat, but we want it to just continue forward as though it's running forever, running a marathon. So what we can do is in the after mode, we can do repeat with offset. But the issue we have is it's still not doing anything. So let's go back to the beginning. And we've got everything selected. So I'm going to hold the Option key down, click on the drop down, or the Alt key on the PC, repeat with offset. Let's see what happens. And if you notice there, I now get this line going on forever rather than repeating. So in other words, it's not resetting back to 0, boom, resetting back to 0. It's just going on and on, building upon itself. Holding the Alt key in Blender, or the Option key, means when you have several things selected, which we have, we've got all of these options selected, apply what you've changed to everything. So if I now do the space bar, and now we get a proper infinite animation. This works, by the way, because the first and last frames for this run cycle actually match. Not all the animations will work that way, but I'll show you in a second. Now, the other thing to watch out for is, let's say I want to get rid of all the modifiers. So again, I'll hold the Option or Alt key and I'll click on the crosshair, and it doesn't work. We have to be a little bit careful. So I can go up to, where is it? Channel, I think, and there you go. Extrapolation mode and clear cyclic. Clear cyclic, Shift E. See, boom. I didn't hold the Alt key down. Let's see what happens. And it stops. So Shift D will do it on what I've highlighted. So again, I'll go to Add Modifier, Cycles, Alt, Repeat Motion, Offset, boom, and there it works. So the shortcuts are a little bit inconsistent, unfortunately, but once you work out what you can do, that's how you can work it out. And I've already done this. I've already downloaded. I went to Mixamo and downloaded different versions of the animations. As you can see, a whole load here, walking, various walking runs, etc., etc. And I've applied, here's the animations blend, I've applied them all to this. So if I'm going to double click on this one now, I'll save that. Now I've done it. Here we go, you see. And I'm going to zoom out and spacebar. Here's my infinite runs. Let's zoom in. And if you notice, let's have a look at all of these. Some of these work very well. They just go on forever. But you might find some of them, they jerk a little bit because they're resetting. But I think these ones are mostly okay. But do be aware, the infinite repeat may not, let's do a spacebar, let's stop that. And I've got this going, I think, for 3,000. Let's do home key. There you go. Oh no, 1,500. And let's select something. There you go. You see, so I've got, see, I can't see them now. So click on that, click on one. Go here to the graph editor. Here you go. And modifiers. And I've just got it on repeat. Click on that one. Oh. There you go, select all, and you can see what's going on. I've just got it on repeats on these. But let's have a look if any of them, let's go back to the beginning. See, look, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So let's check these ones, that the dancing ones. There's nothing too bad there, but there you go. Oh, that's because of the end from 1,500 there to there. But overall, they seem to work quite well. But just remember, not all animations you download from Mixamo will repeat properly because the beginning and the end frames don't match. I think I went through to check ones that did. And if I go back and let's close that because I was looking for something. See, so you can download what you like, but the repeats may not work. If you don't have a character, you can use one of Mixamo's characters and download these. And you can see, let's delete that. There you go. So there's a whole load of characters you can play around. I can use this character if I wanted to and download it. And I think as well, let's have a look. Check the license, but I think you can use this for whatever you want. I think it is royalty free, but do check what the license is. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I've gone to Adobe Help. Okay, that's annoying. It kicked me out. Yeah, so check. They don't make it easy anywhere, but do check the license as it goes through. But that's how you can use Mixamo, create your animation, and this is how you can create an infinite loop within Blender. Any questions, just put them in the comments below, or send me an email for those of you who know me, and I'll be happy to help you out. But just watch out for the shortcuts. Remember, we're in F-curves, check for modifiers, and remember Shift E will allow you to highlight things, clear them, etc., which you might need to do. So the shortcuts are a little bit inconsistent, but once you know that, it should work quite well.